fuck's going on, Phil Buffs? Straight Shooter here at Steam Sound Studios again, and I'm back for not one, not two, but 3 reviews today. That's right, I've been busy. So today, I'm going to be giving my first Red Band spoiler review, and it's going to be for Dr. Sleep. So, Dr. Sleep, as most people probably know, is a sequel to The Shining. The Shining was a very famous movie directed by Stanley Kubrick, which was an adaptation of a Stephen King book. I could read anything by Stephen King. He's definitely my favorite author, and I know King wasn't crazy about The Shining because of the differences from the book, but I still thought the movie was good for what it was. Now, and we have the sequel, which is Dr. Sleep, and there was also a book sequel, so they had some source material to grab from. They got Ewan McGregor to play an older Danny Torrance, who was the son that was in The Shining, and they've got a little girl that has psychic powers too. She tracks him down because she found out about him because she's able to talk to people with the powers in her head. He's trying to get away from having to use his powers because he wants to just lead a normal life. He moves to somewhere in the country. He had a falling out with his wife. Along with that, we have other people that also have The Shining. And there's a cult of people that have the ability to suck the life force out of someone that has powers. And they actually feed on the life force. The movie opens with they find this girl and they take her, and she actually becomes part of the group. And they find another girl later down the line. She's a teenager. She becomes part of the group. Later in the movie, there's a scene that's pretty brutal. They find this kid that has The Shining in him, and they hold him down, they stab him, and they're basically killing him and also feeding on his breath, his life force that has The Shining. And it's a pretty graphic scene. The kid is probably like a preteen or something. It was very hard to watch, but it made you show how dangerous this group is, how dangerous they could be to Danny or to the little girl. The group ends up kidnapping the girl, and Danny finds out, and he tracks them down, and he and a friend go and basically shoot them all, except for the main girl, the leader or whatever. But they find out that she's a lot more powerful than they thought she was. And the only way to beat her is to feed her to other beings that feed on the life force of people with powers. And he figures if he goes back to the Overlook Hotel, if he lures her there, he could basically sacrifice her to the people that are in the hotel. So that's what ends up happening. It's a pretty good horror setup because most of the movie is showing the cult and what they're doing to people, and then Danny and all the psychological shit that's going on in his head, and the girl has a psychological connection to the cult leader, and the cult leader is basically saying, look, I have to find this girl. I have to take control of this girl. I have to feed off this girl, because they can harvest a life force even if someone has died, or they keep someone around and they keep taking from their life force. They can put it in containers and they can feed on it whenever they feel like they're getting less powerful. And it also makes them age slower. So that's what ends up happening at the end is they go to the Overlook Hotel, and there's a scene where they're battling with the cult leader. She ends up being fed to the beings that are in the Overlook Hotel. And they end up burning down the Overlook Hotel, and that's pretty much the end of the story of The Shining and Dr. Sleep and stuff, because that was the conclusion of the arc that they started way back in the day, that King started, that Kubrick started about the hotel. And it was a pretty good conclusion. Overall, I really enjoyed the movie. And it's very rare that you can make a sequel to a horror movie that was made so long ago and still make it compelling, still make it fresh, and still make it like something that the audience really wants to see. And there was something for everyone here. There's things for fans of the book, the original book. There's things for fans of the first movie. There's things for fans of the second book. And there's things for old horror fans. There's things for modern horror fans. But thank God it wasn't just all about blood and guts and jump scares, because there's a lot of really effective creepiness going on. And the way they shot the movie was really good, because they did a lot of these effects where it made it seem like someone was, turning on the side and the house was turning over. There's one shot in particular where they show the cult leader's spirit or essence is going to where the little girl is. And they show her traveling over the earth, and they have it's so perfectly set up the way they show the earth and her in the sky. Beautifully shot, great cinematography, great direction, great acting by Ewan McGregor and Rebecca Ferguson, who plays the cult leader. Even the little girl was good, and she couldn't have been more than like 12, 13. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I definitely recommend it if you like The Shining, if you liked the book, if you liked the movie, and some people don't like one or the other, and that's fine. But Dr. Sleep, I think, helps bridge the gap between the two. And I think fans of the book and fans of the movie can all see Dr. Sleep and find something that they enjoy about it and say that was really good. I thought it was really good. I'll definitely be owning it when it comes out on video, 4K, whatever it is. I definitely recommend it. I don't know what else I can say. It's a really, really well shot, really well acted, really well directed, and it was a really nice surprise. Because even my friend that I went with, who, that's a sequel to The Shining, okay, whatever, and he doesn't know much about Stephen King, other than he's seen some of the movies, but he thought it was really good too. And most people that I've talked to that have seen it really like it as well. And it's getting really good reviews online. Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing that I have bad to say about it, other than the fact that it's horror. And it's very rare for me to be able to find a horror movie that I could get into these days, because a lot of modern horror movies, like I said, are so one-dimensional. It's all about having jump scares, showing as much gore as possible. The characters are one-dimensional and cliche. The direction is all over the place. The writing is really terrible. But Dr. Sleep has the elements of not just a good horror movie, but a good movie in general. So I would give the movie an A, and that's how I see it. So that was number 1. Stay tuned for review number 2. See you in a bit. Murder, murder,